Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Countdown 2025. I am joined today with another wonderful speaker, and I would like to introduce you to Claudine Marchand, an extraordinary soul whose journey began with, and Claudine, you might have to help me with that, spina bifida.
Spina bifida.
Yeah.
It means split spine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
That's interesting.
at the lower part of the spine, my spinal cord didn't stay within the vertebra because they were open.
Uh-huh.
They came out and made a little cyst, which grew with me.
Huh. And you
And
can walk. I'm sorry, we've never met in person, so I'm super interested, but right
yeah,
now you walk and you do everything, right?
no, I walked until 1995. But I started paralyzing when I was 2.5 years old.
Wow. Wow. That's for a youth, people want to run, they want to get up, they want to walk. So it must have, no wonder you do the work that you do, right? So I'm just gonna keep on going with your bio because it's super interesting. From an early age, Claudine curiosity led her to explore life's deeper purpose. And now we know why. With a background in life sciences and neuroscience, she has spent 40 years practicing natural healing, integrating body, mind, spirit, which is extremely needed. And today, Claudine guides others in unlocking their cosmic potential and embracing their limitless human experience. And you are a proof of that limitless human experience, Claudine. Thank you so much for being with us. I am so grateful for the gift that you brought to the countdown. And my goal today is for people to know you and really, get to know how they can work with you, who you are, and what you do. So, can you share a moment or an experience that sparked your passion for what you do? How does this passion translate into the work that you offer?
Thanks for having me first. It's really lovely to meet you. I would say it started from the beginning because as a kid, I spent hours and hours watching others, how they were doing things and figuring out how do I do the same things to get, how do I do my way of things so that I get the same results?
Mhm.
So I took whatever other people were doing into my body and explored, is that possible for me? Do I do it differently? How do I get to do that result? And so through my body, I actually experienced the other people. Another thing happened because I spent lots of time in waiting rooms of doctors, hospitals, and such things. And also in the gym, watching how other people moved and all that. I started wondering, how do other people think about life? What's their outlook on the meaning of life, why they are here? And at the same time as I was growing up with these questions, I went through all the philosophies that I could put my hands on. My mother gave me a book with mythology of all different people when I was about 9 years old. So we went into discussions about what certain races were doing, what certain parts of the world were doing, what the ancients were doing, and what probably ETs or other people were thinking. So I had a very, very broad upbringing.
That's super interesting because you touched on two things that I would like to piggyback on that. And I know that it wasn't part of this interview, but please bear with me because it's so interesting. You're saying the first thing you said is, I got into my body. I think every single practitioner that I know, this is what we say the most to our clients: get out of your head and get into your body. And you were doing that intuitively. And then you're talking about different levels of consciousness. I was taking what was happening here. I was looking at what happened before, what will happen, what might have happened, and what might have happened in different levels of consciousness. How do you bring all of that together into your work?
How would I say that? I think the first thing my clients learn is to be in their body and to use their body as reference. Because if we don't get the messages from our body, our mind can tell us anything. We don't have any way of proving, of checking whether what our mind tells us is true. Because our mind doesn't make any difference whether something happens to us, whether we hear something really emotionally laden, whether we are in a movie or we read a book that really enthralls us. So from that perspective, the first thing I tell people, look, we are in a 3D world here. So you need to acknowledge your courage, if I can say. Because without our bodies, we can't do anything. We'll just stay in a dream world and nothing will change concretely in our real world.
Yeah.
So first get into the body, and from there, learn to interpret the messages you get and check back. What did my mind say? What did my body say? And in between of that, we have our heart. And according to the teachings I got from elders from Aboriginous people, the heart is the place where we receive whatever happens so that we are not overwhelmed. And from there, the heart dispatches it into our mind and into our gut feelings, into our emotions. And then we send back the experiences, the responses we have received from mind and body, and the heart will decide what's the right response. So when we have these three levels of understanding, we are aligned between our spiritual or divine entity and our concrete material body down here on earth. And from there, we are on our path.
That's beautiful. And the goal of the countdown is to help you, listener, today walk into 2025 aligned, balanced, and so empowered. So thank you so much for this explanation, Claudine. So when someone comes and work with you, what would be the one key transformation is learning how to be in our body, but how would that help them or impact their life or their goals?
Actually, I wouldn't say that the transformation is to be in their body.
Oh, okay.
That's a foundation, that's a base. And from there, they will learn who they really are. What's their deeper project, their soul's project, what they really love doing, sharing, bringing into this world. And from there, what I really would like to do is to go beyond all limitations we have received from our education, from the way our society teaches us human should be, and to go just into the limitless. I call that cosmic mastery. And the what do you call that? The way of going about it, I call that human inner technology. Because everything we developed as outer technology, be it cars, be it airplanes, be it computers and all that, nature and our bodies know how to do that so much better. Now, it's obvious that the human being can't compete with an airplane, but we can send our spirit on trips and communicate with people at the other end of our planet without leaving our apartment or our house. So all these things that the ancients knew how to do, the Aboriginal people who haven't lost that tradition still know how to do, to feel really that deep unity, our anchoring in a much bigger being, nature, cosmos, and beyond. Once we can get to that level of being with a capital B, then we don't need the technology we have been pushing and pushing, and that's actually using up the substances Earth is offering us, using up our energy and all that. So it's a totally new, ancient way of going about being a human being.
Well, it's awesome because it's bringing in, like you said at the beginning, everything we knew, everything that is, everything that will, all together right now
Yes,
in this moment so that we can be aligned, balanced, and empowered. So I love it. I totally abide by
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
So if you could leave the audience with one piece of advice or insight that you found to be transformative, what would it be and why?
I think the easiest way to say it is to welcome whatever is. We are part of a much larger design. We have no idea what's behind this design and where it will lead us. So the first thing is say yes and acknowledge what is. And from there, we'll have the option to choose our response instead of reacting because an ancient emotion was triggered an old memory, and we think that the situation we are in is similar to an old situation we had, and then we just react. So instead of that, just breathe out, take a step back, look at the whole image, and decide what's the optimal response in this situation. And that allows us also to keep a happy mind and not be distracted by whatever is going on around us, especially in these times, which are pretty tough and challenging.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Claudine, I am always amazed by your work. I'm a lover of neuroscience. So when we talk about bringing it all, science and spirituality together, I am all in. And I want to thank you so much for being part of the Countdown 2025. I can't wait for people to experience your magic. But before we leave, what mindset or practice do you believe will help people thrive as they embrace the new year?
I would call it a compassionate curiosity. And if I look at the key aspects of this compassionate curiosity, would be first acknowledge what is, as we just mentioned before. Then be open to unexpected events and encounters. Take courage to challenge conventions. Balance strength and gentleness. Embrace transformation. We are changing constantly. Even our body is changing all along. We are not the same 2 minutes from now as we were before. So go with it and cultivate empathy.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I receive with all my heart, and I hope that what Claudine said today spoke to you. And I invite you to join the Countdown 2025 and really get to the gift. You know, there's Claudine and 20 other speakers that have given gifts for all of you to walk into 2025 in your most empowered way. And I cannot wait to hear your comments on the gift that Claudine has brought to us. Thank you again, Claudine, and I wish all of you a wonderful day.